Hey, it's Romero, and here I'm going to talk about The Dark Side of the Ring, Vice documentary about Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit was a professional wrestler and one of the best in the business. He was characterized as a caring, loving husband, a hard worker, and an amazing friend. He was actually best friends with Eddie Guerrero, who was also a wrestler during his WCW days at New Japan Wrestling. The documentary interviews people in his life, his first son from a previous marriage, his sister-in-law, Vicky Guerrero, wife of Eddie Guerrero before he died, Chris Jericho, and Jim Ross. And they'll tell a story about how Chris Benoit first became wrestling, and then it progresses into his WWE days, and how in WWE, unlike WCW, who preferred giant wrestlers, WWE really gave him the props he deserved. And, we all know about Eddie Guerrero. He died from muscle failure or something like that. Something about steroids, but he was steroids free at that time. He just died in his hotel room, brushing his teeth. And Chris Benoit was devastated. Everyone says that's the end of Chris Benoit right there. The Chris Benoit everyone knew and loved died that day. And Chris Benoit continued to wrestle. He was one of the best. He did the diving headbutt and it looked amazing. I can get more later how that affected him. But on 2007, Chris Benoit did the unthinkable. He strangled his wife on Saturday, I believe, Friday or Saturday, strangled her to death, put her body next to her. Then he gave his son, put his son to sleep with medication and suffocated him to death on Saturday, I believe. It were those 2 days. And Sunday night, he went on Google, searched up resurrection of the firstborn son on Google, searched up the least painful way to break one's neck, put a towel around his neck, took the bar off his weight, wrapped it around his neck, pulled the weight, and killed himself. And he committed suicide. Now, WWE first called trying to find Chris Benoit because he missed a pay-per-view, and they're like, this is Chris Benoit. He's like the hardest worker. He would never miss a pay-per-view. Something must be wrong. So they sent a police chief or something who else got interviewed, and he found them all dead. And he told they're all told that Chris Benoit's entire family passed away. So on Monday Night Raw, Vince McMahon and the wrestlers all made a tribute to Chris Benoit. And they all said how amazing person he is without knowing the facts. And Jim Ross said it was their fault for not knowing the facts. Then it all came out that Chris Benoit murdered his family than himself. And this was a big attack on wrestling because wrestling was not seen in the best light. I think Chris Jericho said it best that Chris Benoit almost killed professional wrestling, the one thing he loved the most. And that's kind of the story. This is a really good documentary about the life of a man who was an amazing man, but ended up doing something that wasn't like him. Everyone says that's not him. Even his son says he still loves his dad, even though he killed his stepbrother and stepmom. But he never called him that. He said they never used the word step. They were family. And a nice thing about this is Chris Jericho thought, who else would be better? He actually brought David Benoit, Chris's first son, and Nancy Benoit, Chris's wife. He murdered sister. That he brought them back together after 13 years not talking to each other because someone falsely said that they didn't want to do anything with each other because Chris Benoit killed her sister. But now they're together now. Chris Jericho was able to get them together, and I thought that was really nice of Chris Jericho. I actually really like Chris Jericho. I think he's a stand-up guy. And that's kind of the whole thing. Although, the one thing I thought that was kind of weird they didn't mention is how some people believe Kevin Sullivan, Nancy's ex-husband, killed Chris Benoit and framed him for the murder because he was a jealous man, and it was around the same time Nancy left and divorced Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan. And Kevin Sullivan was like a Satanist character, but I don't know if he was a Satanist in real life. I think that's his character. That's probably didn't bring up that conspiracy, but there's probably very little truth to it. Maybe that's why they didn't want to bring it up. They're just like stretching for straws there for that one. The documentary is really good. They kind of ended it saying Should Chris Benoit be inducted to the Hall of Fame, the WWE Hall of Fame? I think he should. I mean, he did one bad thing his entire life, but he was an amazing wrestler, amazing father, and everyone loved him. But they say his brain was so messed up that he wasn't himself that day. All those chair shots and diving headbutts really did a number on him. And people were saying it was roid rage, but me and Max McMahon's like, this is not rage, this is deliberation. He deliberately killed his family. No amount of rage or steroids could do that. And Max McMahon was right about that. A lot of people said he was in a bad mental state. Alright, so if you guys seen Dark Side of the Ring, Chris Benoit, parts 1 and 2, please comment and I'll try to answer your comment. My movie's coming out hopefully by May. It'll be on Vimeo. Alright, see ya.